Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Spring is trying to come here to North Carolina, and we are at a tricky point in this season. What stays in the greenhouse and what can go outside. So today we are at that point. We are moving the perennials outside. So the question mark is, which ones can handle these crazy fluctuating late winter, early spring temperatures here in North Carolina, and which ones absolutely cannot handle it and need to stay in the greenhouse. So we're going to walk you through that process. And also, I'm going to go ahead and tag the Creekside Champions that I will be adding to my garden this season. So we are going to have a very fun day. We're also going to head down to the house because, like I said, spring is knocking on the door, and I have got some spring flowering corms that I need to put in and do a little pruning. So there is a lot of fun, very early spring-like things happening here at the Creekside Nursery. As you can see, we are in the big production house, and y'all, when I say it is wall-to-wall plants, it is wall-to-wall plants. Those plants that are potted, and we have a lovely little border down here of plants that are waiting to be potted up. So we have got basically this whole bay is nothing but perennials, both the Creekside Champions and then Proven Winners perennials that we're selling, but for both. This is all online stuff. So this is just the online inventory, and we have run out of room. All of the greenhouses are filled with perennials, annuals, and yes, even some shrubs for online. So we also have another delivery tomorrow of over 15,000 annuals that need to be potted up, and we have got to make room. So again, critical point here in North Carolina. What can go outside and thrive outside, but what needs a little bit more of TLC, a little bit of a buffer on these crazy temperatures? That is what we're doing today. Because just explaining, I know a lot of the country, you just got buried, like the Northeast, you got buried with like feet of snow. It's been very cold here. We did not get any snow. But the past 2 days, including this morning, we were in the mid to low 20s. And from now on, it looks like we are going to hit some good temperature. Last week, we were breaking records. We had 2 days in a row where we broke records for the heat. It was like 78 and 80 something degrees. So, you know, welcome to the South. So let's see what's going and let's see what's staying. How do we decide the plants that go and the plants that stay? First of all, a lot of it is going to depend on the type of plant. So the Heucheras that we have right here, these Creekside Champions, Heucheras in of themselves can absolutely be outdoors in those fluctuating temperatures. And so number one, we look at the plant genre. What type of plant is it, and can it handle it? Yes or no? Heucheras, definitely yes. We've got multiple different types of Pulmonaria. Pulmonaria absolutely can go outside. I even have some in my landscape at the house that is starting to flower. So all the Pulmonaria surely can, because it's nice and cold hardy. The Heaven Scent, which is the Jacob's ladder, you can see that it is blooming here in the greenhouse. Really is not what we want, because we want it to flower for our online customers once it gets to them. But because it is a very early spring bloomer, very cold tolerant, it can go outside as well. Here we have a Creekside Champion. This is Hurricane Ridge. That is a Jacob's ladder. Obviously, we're talking about different types of plants and the genres, and then you can see it absolutely can. Look how beautiful and thick and lush it is. Look at the beautiful roots that are coming out. So we're looking not only at the type of plant that it is, but the foliage. Does it have nice, good foliage? Does it have a strong, healthy root system? These absolutely do. So we've got like the Fatsia, absolutely. The Brunnera. Look at this, y'all. This is the Alexander's Grape. It too is blooming. We have got multiple varieties of Brunnera, so it surely is going to be going outside as well. Now, thinking about the plants that need to stay indoors longer, what are we looking at? Again, top priority. What type of plant is it? Those hot weather loving plants that really thrive in the heat. So I am looking at you, Echinacea. Our Echinacea has gotten some really good growth on it. So we've got leaves, we've got foliage, but it loves it hot. If we were to put it outside right now and it gets, the lows are going to be in the 30s, we get a freeze, a light freeze or a light frost, that is really going to set it back. That is not what we want to do. So my Echinacea is definitely staying in. My Nepeta, we were looking at the Creekside Champions, we were looking at their root growth. Not a real strong root growth. It's got just a little bit of roots. Yes, they've gone to the bottom, but they're not circling the pot super strong. So they're still on that tender side. So we're going to keep those indoors as well. Another class of plants that are definitely going to stay in are my perennial grasses, because whether it's a pennisetum or a panicum grass, you can see that they are just breaking dormancy, and I do not want to set these babies back. Yes, they absolutely can handle the cold, right? That is not an issue, but I don't want to set the growth back. Again, when we send our perennials out with the online store, we want to make sure that when we send it, it's nice and full and it's lush and there's no question in your brain, is this plant alive? Is it dead? Like, what is the deal? So the grasses most definitely are going to be staying in for a couple more weeks. While the team is going ahead and moving out the perennials, we are going to do a little shopping here in Greenhouse 1. So very exciting, of course, is one of the perks of being a nursery owner and working at a nursery is that you can kind of decide what plants you want to add to your garden and kind of go ahead and reserve them. And so now don't fret, my pet, we have ordered plenty. So we have ordered plenty of Creekside Champions, keeping in mind that I was going to do what I'm about to do. So I am not taking any of your plants. I cannot get this door to shut. We've been having problems with it. It'll be fine. We're gonna leave it open. So we have planned for this, my friends, so don't be like, well, Jenny's taking all the plants. And plus, you've had plenty of time to pre-order. The ones that I am choosing from are the ones that are in this greenhouse, of course, and so they are not the ones that are online. We do keep the retail inventory separate from the online inventory. So we're gonna grab some flags. I'm gonna go through and mark the trays that I want, and so that way our team knows that those belong for the gardens here at Creekside. My friends, you are going to see a lot of bright orange flags. That is because I basically chose one tray of each of the Creekside Champions. I mean, you got to put them in the gardens, right? We have to show you how amazing these plants are. So yeah, I just went through flagged 1 tray of everything, and I will be able to start putting some of these in the gardens very, very soon. Basically, it's the exact same thing as like what perennials can go outside for production. Well, if they can go outside, then they can be added to my garden. So I'm thinking about the Heucheras, the Pulmonaria, the Jacob's ladder. I have got some cutie patootie. I don't know if we've even talked about this, but the mini hostas. So like school mouse, mini skirt, blue mouse ears. These are like in of themselves very tiny, petite little hostas. So I grabbed a mixed tray of those. They are so much fun to add in to the garden. So yes, they are going to be going into the garden very, very soon. Speaking of going into the garden, we're going to go into the garden at the house because I'm going to plant some more anemone corms. This is the perfect, easiest spring flowering bulb in the South. You can plant it in the fall or the spring, and they give gorgeous flowers that make great cut flowers, and they're perennials. What else could you ask for? I don't know. I love these plants. So we are going to spend just a little bit of time here in the front yard because, oh my gosh, y'all, I am starting to feel a little bit of the pressure, I'm not gonna lie, with spring quickly arriving here in North Carolina. So 2 things that are happening. One, I need to plant my anemone corms. In the South, you can plant them in the fall or you can plant them in the spring. If you remember, we planted fall ones together, and y'all, they're blooming. I'm going to show you them in just a little bit. They're stunning. But I am not planting them first because anemone corms, you need to soak in warm water for about 2 hours to soften them up. So they are in the house getting a nice warm soak. So while we wait for our clock to pass, we are going to take care of a couple of other things. First of all, we need to weed. Now, I am not going to bore you with a bunch of weeding. Just know that every gardener has weeds, and yes, so while they are not prolific, they are here. And so if you see a weed, pull a weed. And honest, Grace and gardening here because I've seen the weeds and I have not pulled them. But today is the day. Today we're going to take care of them. So I'm going to run through real quick and I'm going to pull my weeds. And then we need to go ahead and trim the Fire Light Tidbits. I did the 3 or 4 that are on the one side of the house, and now we need to do this side because, very important, they bloom on new growth. We've got to prune them. Now, we have done tons of tutorials on how to prune your panicle hydrangeas. I am not going to bore you with that. However, I am going to quickly show you how much I'm going to take off of my Fire Light Tidbits because they are newly planted. They were just planted in the fall, so they are not mature shrubs yet. And by nature, they are more of a petite hydrangea. So when it's time, I will show you exactly how much I am cutting off my Fire Light Tidbits because you don't want to scalp them, but you do want to give them a prune. So first things first, I'm gonna get a little weeding done. I'll meet you right here in a second, and then we'll talk hydrangeas. All right, my friends, so I got all of the weeds taken care of. I'm going to have some very happy chickens on my hands because they love it when I weed in the garden because they get all of the little scraps. Now, we have a collection of, I don't know, about 10 or 12 Fire Light Tidbit hydrangeas here in front of the tea olives, the dwarf horsemen. Your Fire Light Tidbits, great. If you look for a nice, petite, full sun hydrangea that gives you beautiful color, Fire Light Tidbit is the one for you. It is a panicle hydrangea, meaning that it blooms on new wood, so we need to prune it every late winter going into spring. They only get to be about 2 to 3 feet tall and about 3 feet wide. Again, we planted these this past fall. They were 3 gallons. They really did not grow like vertically very much since we planted them. All the action is happening under the roots. So what I wanted to do is go ahead and give it a nice little trim. So this total height of this hydrangea, I would say would be at the peak is like 18 inches. So all I'm going to do is come in and I'm going to take maybe about 6 inches off, and that is it. 6 inches all the way around. Every limb will get a trim. Of course, we've talked about this before. You always want to come in right above 2 of your leaf swells. They are very visible this time of year. They look like little rings on the hydrangea. We're going to cut right above that because that is going to give us 2 branches instead of 1, and on every branch you're going to have at least 1 flower. So we are very much doubling, if not tripling, our blooms for this coming summer. So I'm going to get these done. Super easy. This is something you do not have to think about. Just go around, find a limb and cut it. Boom, one is done. Gonna get the rest of them done now. All right, things are moving along quite nicely. Weeding, checked. Prune the Fire Light Tidbits, checked. Now we're on to planting the anemone corms. Again, if you have never done anemones, my gosh, y'all, you need to do them because even I have great success with them and I love them. So low maintenance. Again, if you're in the warmer zones, you can plant them in the fall or the spring. If you plant them in the fall, then you may have some early blooms. Mine are that we planted this fall have already begun to start blooming, and oh my gosh, y'all, they are so pretty and so cheery, and they're just getting started. Again, they make great cut flowers. If you're in the cooler zones, and then you're going to want to plant them in the spring. Super, super easy to do. No pre-chilling required. All you have to do is get a bowl, put some, like I said, some lukewarm water in it with the corms, let them soak for 2 hours, and then we're going to plant them just a couple of inches deep. So we're going to go ahead and put them in this area since we're working in this little area. So we're going to tie it all in together. So let me show you the corms and tell you what variety I have. So here you can see I have my bowl with the water. I had them sitting inside because today is a little chilly out here, so I wanted the water to stay warm. So I'm just going to drain the water off as much as I can without losing any corms. And really simple. So before we get into the variety, let me show you. So they're kind of gnarly looking. So basically you're going to plant the pointy side down, the flat side up. Just a couple of inches in the ground, throw the soil back on top of it, boom, there you go. I have 40 of them, so I had 2 packs of 20. And so I think what I'm going to do is probably like maybe 8 different sections and put 5 in a hole. So easy peasy. So this particular variety that I'm adding, I got them from Petal Pickers, and Petal Pickers is a small like cut flower farm in South Carolina, but they've also started selling some of their bulbs and corms and dahlia tubers in the fall and the spring. So they are a great resource. I first found them because my sweet friend Tracy from Plaids and Poppies brought me a fresh bouquet from them, and so I think they still do mail order like subscriptions of their fresh flowers. Oh my gosh, it is such a treat for yourself or somebody you love. Total side note. Another great okay, that's where I got them. I get so excited, I get distracted. So what we're going to plant today is Italian Levante Bianco. I think I said that right. Basically, it translates into Eastern white. So these are going to be pure white double anemones. They are stunning. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with white, right? So it goes with everything, and this is a great way to add in that seasonal color and have that succession planting, because they're going to come up, they're going to bloom, and then I leave the foliage until it dies back, and then my azaleas are blooming, then my hydrangeas start blooming. I'll put in my summer annuals. So we're trying to add that color and have some sort of interest in the garden throughout the seasons, and if we can have flowers, then absolutely yes. Another great resource, because Petal Pickers is very limited as far as their availability on some of their inventory. Eden Brothers is where I got these guys up here. They have a great selection of anemones. Now there's tons of other places that you can get them. If you have done anemones before, put it in the comments below. Let's share the love, share the information so that other people can go ahead and find out some great resources and some interesting places to get some anemones. And it's not too late. I know Eden Brothers still has, I think, quite a few in stock. So especially if you're in the South like I am, or even Northern, and you're still covered in snow, go ahead and order some. You will thank your later self, your future self will thank your present self in a couple of weeks and months, because oh my gosh, you're gonna love these things. All right, so literally I have my hoary. I'm not even gonna use biotone, y'all, nothing. I'm gonna do a little hole, couple inches deep, plop them in, pointy side down, put the soil back on top of it, boom, call it a day. We're taking it easy and doing bit by bit in the garden today. And like I said, future Jenny is going to thank present Jenny, because these are going to be beautiful. All right, my friends, there you go. A late winter going into spring day here at the nursery. Both things happening at the garden center, production, the house, all of the things are happening. And I don't know about you, but spring around here, this time, that transition from winter and going into spring, it is like a freight train sometimes that just is like picking up momentum. And as the spring comes, the train goes faster and faster. And there's just so much that personally, like, I feel like it demands from me. But maybe it's because I'm getting older or a little wiser. I don't know, or because I've been doing this for so long. I'm not trying to outrun that train, right? I don't even know if I can keep up with the train, but I am trying to pace myself and trying to take it bit by bit, because you respond to what is happening in front of you. As far as the seasons go, I know this year the season is telling us that it's about 2 to 3 weeks behind what it was last year. I feel like it's a little bit more seasonally appropriate as far as the weather, the garden's waking up, and I can tell that just because of looking at pictures from years past. Things are not blooming that have already bloomed, you know, in the years past. So every year is different, every season is different, but overall spring can be quite hectic and full around here, and I am learning to slow down and respond and not feel like I have to get everything done at the exact moment that it calls for attention. So for this season, I have been learning to be steady and not frantic. There are certainly frantic moments in life, right? But when we can choose the steady and just respond as things come to us, and looking ahead and trying to find routine and planning, I know for me personally that is going to keep my sanity for this season in the years to come, hopefully. So it feels really good to be proactive today because, like I said, it may have been a chilly day today, but you know, North Carolina, tomorrow is going to be like almost 70. So these plants, this garden is going to wake up. So it's my job as the steward of this garden to respond as needed, but not to freak out and not to panic, because there is grace in gardening, and there certainly is grace in life. So anyway, I want you to be encouraged, and if you can get out in your garden for a little bit, I hope that you are able to do that. If you're some of those folks are buried literally in feet of snow. Oh my gosh, I say this with all the love in my heart, but bless your heart, I just don't see how y'all do it. I think, you know, 2 weeks for us of white stuff on the ground was more than enough. And so my thoughts are with you. Just hang on, because you know what? Spring is coming. I promise it will come. It always comes. So yeah, both in the garden and in life for sure. All right, I've had enough little sentimental talk. I'm gonna go in and have a great rest of the day. I want you to do the same. We will meet you back here tomorrow. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.